Thank you, Mark, and a big hello from London. 2 weeks ago, in my weekly technicals commentary here, I pointed out how there were limited weekly technical patterns back then, and this might lead to seeing more patterns in my subsequent commentary last week. Well, that didn't happen, as we had only 7 weekly key reversals to discuss last week. Now we come to this past week, and it has been even worse, with only 5 weekly key reversals in the markets I cover. This is now starting to worry me. I'm concerned that we might have a significant move in a number of markets, possibly soon, because of the lack of weekly key reversals, as they often act as a safety valve, letting off some excess pressure instead of letting a market combust. Indeed, I'm looking forward to reviewing the monthly key reversals for January, as I think we may hopefully have some interesting technical patterns there. Until that time, I will concentrate on the weekly key reversals that we did have last week. There were none in the currencies, but in the financials we had a weekly key reversal up in the Shanghai Composite stock index, and not in any other Chinese index, which on its own, the Shanghai has now spectacularly failed, with prices making the 3rd lowest close since April 2020. The other 4 were in the commodities, and we had a somewhat controversial weekly key reversal up last week in Chicago rough rice futures. This was because it showed up on the continuous daily charts, not on an individual contract. However, this pattern has so far proved to be good, with a nice follow-on higher both yesterday and on Monday. The next 2 were in London Metal Exchange, LME Metals. We had a weekly key reversal up in LME 3-month Aluminium last week. Well, this week we have seen a slow but positive follow-on high in the metal. We're higher than Friday's close, but still within last week's range. This was not the case with LME 3-month nickel, which also had a weekly key reversal up last week. However, this has some pretty heavy-duty overhead resistances nearby and has not managed to move higher, though it's still within last week's range. I deal more fully with both of these in my weekly metals video commentary, which I published yesterday. Finally, we had a weekly key reversal down in London ICE UK feed wheat futures. This had seen fresh lows not seen since July last year. Then this week we have not seen a follow-through lower as yet. Indeed, we have not seen anything much at all, which relates to my comments at the start that I'm concerned we may be building up to a significant move in a not-too-distant future. I will cover this and the other grain markets in my weekly videos on Friday. As always, I'm happy to answer any direct questions with anyone who's interested. And with that, I'll finish this section from London, and I hope you found these comments useful.
Thank you for listening. This weekly broadcast gives the essential market patterns and consequences. Please be aware of the risk disclaimer posted both at the front and at the back of this broadcast. Copyright is Eddie Toftbeek and ADM Investor Service International Limited. And here comes the final important bit.